for his 13th birthday. What Jason wanted more than anything else was to go on a trip with his father and grandfather. It never happened. His dad died in a plane crash. Fast forward 11 years. This is where the movie, The Ultimate Gift, begins. Jason is now 24. Has anyone seen the movie? Okay, it came out in 2006, so I'm dating myself. But even though Jason's relationship with his grandfather was rocky, after he died, Jason shows up at the reading of the will and is surprised to learn that his grandfather left something to him. Through a series of messages recorded before he died, his grandfather devised a plan for Jason to experience a crash course on life with 12 tasks or gifts designed to challenge Jason, send him on a journey of self-discovery, and force him to determine what is most important in his life: money or happiness. These tasks end up taking Jason places he had never been, and frankly, never desired to go, both physically and emotionally. Along the way, Jason befriends Emily, a wise beyond her years 10-year-old who's suffering with leukemia, and Emily's mom, Alexi. He also spends a month on a Texas ranch digging fence posts and learns about manual labor. He travels to Ecuador, where he ventures into a densely forested mountain and finds what remains of the airplane his father mysteriously died in. Jason and his guide are captured and imprisoned for trespassing on property controlled by drug traffickers. They end up escaping the day before they are to be killed. Jason learns the hard way what it's like to live without the wealth and privilege that he had taken for granted. He learns foundational lessons about giving and love and family that had eluded him for the first 24 years of his life. And in the process, Jason is transformed. Spoiler alert. At one point, Jason realizes that he is able to help others fulfill their dreams. Jason receives a check for $100 million from the estate. Okay, $100 million. It's a big check. I could not cash it, but he drafts a prospectus for a $350 million complex called Emily's Home, where families can live while their children receive treatment for life-threatening illnesses. Jason donates all of his $100 million to begin construction of the project, and he negotiates to raise the balance of $250 million from the financial institutions who did business with his grandfather. Of course, those of us here today, let's just assume none of us are in line to inherit millions. So why did I choose The Ultimate Gift as a backdrop for our adventure? Because Advent is more than just a time of anticipation. Any venture might be a risky or daring journey or undertaking. Think back to our first reading where we heard Kelly proclaim so beautifully the prophet Isaiah, giving voice to God's dream of bringing something new out of the darkness. The Spirit of God literally flowering as a wild shoot we name Jesus, overflowing in wisdom, understanding, strength, wonder, and joy. Friends, we don't exist in a world by ourselves. You know, each week after the homily here, we hear the words, "And for whom and for what shall we pray?" Today, I ask, for whom and for what do we transform our lives? 45 years ago, during an Advent retreat, I was first introduced to Isaiah's image of the peaceable kingdom, where predator and prey lie down together, wolf and lamb, leopard and kid, calf and lion, cow and bear, ox and cobra, child and viper. This relational and non-hierarchical vision goes beyond simply tolerating each other to choosing to share space together. Those we categorize as wild and dominant and poisonous, scary even, with those we view as tame and human-friendly and gentle. Imagine all creatures evolving beyond aggression because we enjoy and share everything necessary to thrive. You know, visions are nice. They're important to tap into, especially when we're on the way somewhere. I just love that image. And it's not just in one place. Imagine everywhere that peace. Advent offers us the opportunity to reflect on how we're doing, both personally and communally. Check the news, though. We're not there yet. My friends, let us recognize that peace is not only a noun, it's a verb. It requires us to spend ourselves in its pursuit. And how each of us lives peace can be different. Lest we forget that same spirit of wisdom and wonder that rested on Jesus rests on each of us. The one who is coming, just like this heat that's coming through, you hear the sounds now. That's not like my background music, right? The one who is coming is Emmanuel, God with us. Note the plural, God is not with just you and me, with us. Us means all people in all places, especially those on the margins, those we've never met, perhaps never even seen. Let's be open to allowing our light to shine and our mindset to shift. We still have 3 weeks of Advent. A lot of us grew up when different cultural norms prevailed. By now, most of us recognize our inclination to categorize, and that it results in bias and stereotyping against anyone we view as different. Throughout his life, Jesus reached out to people on the margins. When we reach out, we come to realize We are all the same. Do you ever speculate on what it would be like if Jesus walked the earth today? British transgender poet J. envisions Jesus at the gay bar in his poem by the same name. Listen to the story that he tells. And I quote, "He's here in the midst of it, right at the center of the dance floor. Robes hitched up to his knees to make it easy to spin. At some point in the evening, a boy will touch the hem of his robe and beg to be healed. Beg to be anything other than this. And he will reach out his arms, sweat damp and weary from dance. He'll cup the boy's face in his hand and he'll say, 'My beautiful child, there is nothing in this heart of yours that ever needs to be healed.'" End quote. Let us dance and discover how easy it is to coexist when we begin from a place of love, rather than focus on what separates us. God bless you all.